Hello, my name is Stephen Mayeux, and this is my video series on practical JavaScript, where I walk you through the algorithm challenges at freecodecamp.com. In this video, we are going to learn how to use some cool array methods to solve slasher flick. Quite a simple activity, and it'll be pretty quick to show you how to solve this. I think I'll have time to show you two solutions in this video, and you'll definitely learn some new things with arrays. Okay, so let's understand the challenge first. That's always the most important step. When you attack any problem, be it a website or an application or even an algorithm challenges, always understand what you're trying to do. Okay. So return the remaining elements of an array after chopping off n elements from the head. Okay, from the head, that just means from the beginning. The head means the beginning of the array. Okay, there we go. Or the zeroth index, okay. And then here are some helpful links: array slice and array splice. Okay, so we've been using the slice method a lot, and I want to show you how to use the splice method. It's essentially the same. Well, they're different. Okay, never mind. I'm going to show you later. Okay, it's helpful to go through the test for this one too, just to see the example output. So we have an array that has a length of 3. And the second argument is 2. So it basically wants to cut off the first 2 items from the head and just return this one, the last one. Keep in mind, we have to return an array. So, this is one integer in an array, but you're not returning an integer, you're returning an array. Here we have an array, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to cut off 0 things, so we don't touch the array, we don't change it. Here again, we have an array with 3 items, but we want to cut off 9 things. So in that case, if the number is greater than or equal to the length of the array, we're going to return an empty array, as is the case with this one right here. So let's go ahead and get that set up. I got my Atom editor open. I created a new JavaScript file, 11_slasher_flick.js, and I've already gone ahead and embedded that on line 11 in my HTML file. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my notes right here, and I just want to use a very simple if block and with a for loop, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So let's take care of the first condition. This will be really easy. If there's like a condition where the how many, the second argument, is greater than or equal to the length of the array, I just want to return an empty array. So let's go ahead and do that. So if how many is greater than or equal to the length of the array, write that length. All right, return an empty array. All right, simple. Okay. Else. Okay. Now I want to create a loop. All right, let's just do a for loop. For I equals 1. All right, normally with loops, we set like this counter to 0 because we're iterating through each element. We're not going to do that, and I'll show you why in just a moment. I'm going to start at 1. So I equals 1. All right, and I is less than or equal to how many, and I plus plus. Okay, and I'm going to use this new array method, array.shift, and that's it. Okay, and then after that, I want to return the array. Okay, I'm going to save that. So let's just walk this through before we run it. All right, if this length, if the second argument is greater than or equal to the length of the array, well, we're going to return an empty string. So you can see for these situations right here, okay, we would need an empty array. So we've taken care of that. They don't tell you that explicitly in the instructions, so it's always a good idea to look at the test and the example output, and that'll help you, design your algorithm. All right, so if that's not the case, we're going to run this block, and we're going to do a for loop, and we're going to start at 1. Because I basically want to loop through it this number of times. So I want to loop through this, in this case, 2 times. So I start at 1, and I could do this. I could say 0 and less than how many. I think that's a bit confusing because I'm not really iterating through the indices of an array. I'm just doing something x or n number of times. So I'm starting I equals 1, and we're going to keep iterating through this so long I is less than or equal to the how many variable, and we're going to increment it by 1 after each iteration. Okay, still plenty of time. Now this shift method, that basically takes the head, the first item or the 0th index of an array, and it just removes it. And I can store that in a variable, and then x would be equal to 1, but we don't need to do it. So basically shift, it removes the first or the 0th index from an array, all right, and it returns that value. We don't need that value, okay? We just want to pop it off the head of the array. And shift actually mutates, it changes the array. And so that's useful to know. All right, so basically I'm going to save that. I'm going to come over here. Okay, and there we have it. It works. Let me just double check that it works. I'm going to copy and paste this, bring it over to Free Code Camp. Okay, and then Control Enter. Okay, cool. So this works. Awesome. We're using the shift method in order to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you one more solution just because it's pretty cool. Okay, and it's going to show you like a new array method. I'm actually going to show you how to use the splice method. It's a little tricky. I mean, it's kind of similar, and it sounds similar to slice. I'm always mixing them up, slice and splice. But enough talking. Let's just get down into the code. All right. So I'm going to say, actually, I could just say this, I think. Oh, well, let me show you the simple method first. All right, so array.splice, okay, and we're going to start, let's see, let me show you the documentation first. So basically, we're getting our start index like usual, and then the delete count, okay, so these are, this is a required one, and I believe this is an optional. These are all optional. So the delete count is an integer indicating the number of old array items to remove. If delete count is 0, no elements are removed. Okay, so splice, we can delete things and also add things into an array. So it takes several arguments. This would be the starting index. This tells us how many items to remove from the starting index, and then the optional requirements would be what we want to add. So here, okay, we've got like an array of words: angel, clown, mandarin, surgeon, and we're going to start at index 2. We're going to insert at index 2, okay, so right here. And we're not going to remove anything, so it's a 0, and we're going to insert drum. So it's angel, clown, drum, and then Mandarin surgeon, okay, and we're not removing anything. In our case, we do want to remove things, and we're not going to add anything, so we just need 2 arguments for splice. So for splice, okay, we're going to start at index 0 in the beginning, and then basically that. Okay, and then I can do return array like this, or I can just very simply put this return. Okay, so it's 1 line. So we're starting at the 0th index, and we're going to remove 2 things. So this counts as 1, and this counts as 2. All right, so I'm going to save it, go to Chrome. Whoops. Okay. So remember how I told you, like, with slice and shift, it returns something that that you remove. So we don't want that. Okay. Okay, so that's an important distinction. Okay, there we go. So if you missed that, all right. So just like the shift method, splice, whatever we do, it's going to mutate and change the array. And because we're removing some items, it's actually going to return that to us. So if I did return like that, then it's just going to return whatever we removed. But we don't want that. We want to remove those things. We want to change the array and then return the updated array. So I made an assumption. It was not right. And so anyway, I learned something cool by making a mistake right there. That's pretty sweet. Okay. Gonna just make sure this works in Free Code Camp. I hope it does. Hope there's no problems. Okay, whoops. There we go. All right, and sure enough, it works again. So for this challenge, you had 2 solutions. The first solution, there we go. Oops. Anyway, I'll get I think I have it right here. Let me just copy and paste it. All right. There we go. All right. So got 2 solutions. First one, I'm using an if-else block and then a for loop, and I'm using a shift method just to pop off 1 item from the array, and then it mutates the array. I return that mutated array. If I did this, it's going to return like whatever we pop off, which we don't want. And in the second one, I'm just using the splice method, starting at the 0 index, and I'm telling it to delete this many things from the beginning, starting at 0, and then I want to return the array. So really simple. You learned a couple of new things. You learned about the shift, and you learned about the splice method. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for improvement, or if you want to share your solution with me, please do so and in the comments below. If you like it, please share it with your coding community. It'll help me out, and it'll help Free Code Camp out as well. If you want to subscribe, you'll get all the notifications when I publish new YouTube videos. So it helps me out, helps you out as well. Okay guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.